Hello, and welcome to the Healing Streams Reflection. The title for today's post is First Things First, a fictionalized account of Judges chapter 6. Beads of sweat coursed down Gideon's back and dropped from his brow as he gasped to catch his breath. He had been racing all morning to beat out the freshly harvested wheat on the floor of the winepress. The late spring sun had glared increasingly hotter around him as he hid and tried to save at least a paltry portion of grain. He had made other plans for the morning, but all that changed abruptly yesterday when, with mouth agape and eyes wide with horror, he watched the calculated moves of the Midianite joining forces with the dreaded Amalekites. Like a swarm of locusts with impeccable timing, the army swept through the valley below, trampling and burning every bit of perfectly ripened produce. Though today was a new day, it was nevertheless tinged with the same old feelings as he pummeled the wheat and glanced around periodically. Gideon still could not believe the devastation. His aching heart pounded more bitter with each beat. Now the Israelites would starve if they didn't become scavengers, rushing to save what little remained. It was also heavy, so tiring, exhausted. Gideon leaned over to catch his breath, panting. He looked up to see a man sitting peacefully under an oak tree in the distance. How nice it must be to relax in the cool shade. Gideon thought as he struggled to save a bit of grain. Sullen, but curious, he stooped toward the stranger. "The Lord is with you, O valiant warrior," called the stranger. Who is this fellow? Gideon wondered, squinting to look him over. He's obviously not from here. How can he say the Lord is with me? Doesn't he see the flattened fields around me? Gideon pointed to the devastation and asked the stranger whether the Lord was with his people now. Gideon could hardly believe his ears. The stranger commanded him to deliver Israel from the Midianites, something Gideon had fantasized about all this. Still, he knew such a huge battle would be impossible for him in his own strength. Had God heard Israel's cry after all? Could this truly be God's messenger, the angel of the Lord? He said to him, "O Lord, how shall I deliver Israel? Behold, my family is the least in Manasseh, and I'm the youngest in my father's house." Judges chapter 6, verse 15. Gideon always had been a bit of a doubter. He had to be certain the stranger truly was the angel of the Lord. Gideon begged him not to leave while he hurriedly prepared a meal of bread and meat for the stranger. Suddenly, a flash of fire consumed the food. Instantly, He realized he had been speaking to the Lord, which meant that Gideon will indeed be the one to deliver Israel from the devastating Midianites and Amalekites. Gideon was further convinced of the identity of the stranger by his instructions. Instead of giving an immediate call to organize an army, the Lord told Gideon to tear down the altar to Baal and the Asherah idol beside it that belonged to Gideon's father. First things first. Painful images of loved ones wasting away from starvation will no longer occupy his mind. They were replaced with a reassuring and organized plan to rid his father's household and hometown of the sin that prevented the Lord from rescuing them. That sin was the worship of other gods before the one true God, the one who had delivered them on so many prior occasions. As the monumental day grew long, the draining heat that had sucked him as he worked in his own strength was replaced with the soft cold blanket of night air and the invigorating presence of the Lord. Priorities had been set. His God was a God of order. The account of Gideon's undermined victory over Israel's enemy is well known, yet often overlooked despite its order of priority. Is the victory before the victory, as recorded in the 6th chapter of Judges. God will not use Gideon to deliver Israel from the hand of Midian and Amalek until he destroyed the altar of Baal belonging to his father. The Lord had to turn Israel's focus away from Baal and back to him. Only then could Gideon be used to assemble the appropriate army directed by God to defeat the Midianites. Although he feared retaliation from his father's household, Gideon was confident that God will keep him from peril. Gideon had a divine assignment that will ultimately save him, his family, and his town, and his country from oppressive hands of their enemies. Gideon was responsible for obedience. God was responsible for results. The lesson of Gideon speaks forth today. God waits for us, longs for us to see the devastation of sin and react with indignation at the damaging idols in our lives. Through his word and his still small voice, he calls for us to emerge from the winepress of bitterness and find rest in his sweet embrace. He urges us to focus only on him, to wholly trust his instructions, to indeed taste and see that the Lord is good. Thanks for listening. May the good Lord richly bless you.